Hello, my name is Cooper, and in this video I'm going to share with you how to score the perfect teaching position in London. I've relocated back to the UK from Australia on 3 separate occasions, and each time I've had to apply for a new teaching job. There's one piece of advice I'd like to share, and I wish somebody had shared this with me. You do not need to take the first teaching position that you are offered. There is a huge shortage of teachers in the UK. So it's really important that you ask a lot of questions from your recruiters and ask to visit schools. It's really important that you find a job that's the perfect fit for you. I'll go into this in a little more detail throughout the video. To teach in the UK, you need 2 things: a Bachelor of Education or a similar qualification, and you also need a work visa. I was lucky enough to go through on an ancestry visa. I'll leave a link above so you can find out if that suits you. Or the other option is the skilled workers visa. If you're uncertain, it's really important you speak to an immigration lawyer in the UK. There are plenty online. There are 2 avenues when you're looking for work in the UK. One is you can apply for a job before you leave Australia, or 2, you can have a job already organised for when you arrive. Let's look at the pros and cons of both. If you're planning on arriving in the UK without a job, there's a few things you need to consider. Firstly, do you have enough money to sustain you while you're looking for employment? Do you have somewhere to live? Are you staying with friends, in an Airbnb? Do you know what area you're going to live in? If you have all this figured out, fantastic, because this will give you a great opportunity to figure out where you'd like to live and work around London. Also, if you're offered a job, it'll give you a chance to go and visit the school, speak to the head teacher, have a wander around, see what the kids are like, the classrooms, and maybe speak to some of the teachers, and you can get an idea if this school is a great fit for you. If your other option is to secure a job before you leave, let's look at the pros and cons. Pros are: you'll have a job when you arrive, there's no stress of looking for employment, and you'll also have a contract, which is really important because landlords want to see this to help you secure a flat. So what are the cons? You won't be able to visit the school, you won't be able to speak to the teachers, have a wander around, see what the children are like. You won't be able to get a good feel for the culture of the school, and you won't be able to check out the transport links. It's really important that you live close to work. How do you find a teaching job in London? To apply for positions, you can look on LinkedIn, job sites, or recruitment agencies. From my experience, all my jobs have been found via recruitment agencies, and most schools go through recruitment agencies to fill positions and jobs. When you speak to a recruiter, there's a fair bit of documentation that you need to organise. You'll need a passport, a visa share code. This is your immigration status, and it says what type of work you can do in the UK and how long you can work here. When you arrive, you'll go and collect your biometric pass, and they'll give you a link, and this will help you generate that code. You'll need this as part of your application. You'll need your updated CV with all your teaching experience and 2 references. You'll need a national insurance number. Everyone who works in the UK has one of these. It's similar to the Australian tax file number. It tells you how much tax you pay and what sort of benefits that you are entitled to. You can apply for one of these when you arrive in the country. Just jump online and Google how to get a national insurance number. 2 proofs of address. This can be a little tricky. You'll need this when you arrive. If you have a few problems, a good recruiter should be able to offer you some advice. Proof of university qualification. An enhanced DBS certificate. This is the government's way of checking on you to make sure that you're eligible to work with children. I made the mistake of getting a basic clearance certificate, and when I spoke with the recruiters, they said this was insufficient. I wish somebody had told me, because it cost me £20. I strongly recommend you speak to your recruiter when you're organising your enhanced DBS certificate. You also need an overseas clearance certificate from your country of origin. You can organise this before you leave. It costs around about $20. And finally, you'll need a qualified teacher status certificate. The last 2 times I've been working in the UK, it wasn't required, but the recruitment agencies that I am with, they've been asking me to get one, so I've now applied. Your QTS is a professional teacher's qualification that allows you to work in different sectors in England and Wales. You can work in the UK for up to 4 years without one, but from my experience, all the recruitment agencies that I'm with have been asking for it, and I've now applied. So the big question is, how much do teachers get paid in London? At time of recording this video in early 2023, supply teachers in London were getting paid between £125 to £190 per day, depending on your experience, the agency you are with, and whether or not you have a qualified teacher status. I'd aim for around £150 per day. Teaching is a challenging job, especially in London, and come on, you're worth it. If you're not happy with the rate that you are getting, negotiate it with your agency. If you don't resonate with them, go find somebody else. It's really important that you get paid your worth. Personally, supply works great if you want to get the quick cash, but I much prefer having a permanent position. I find teaching a lot easier when you can develop the relationship with the child, and behaviour is a lot more manageable. And from previous experience, supply teaching in London during winter, when it's cold, wet, dark and snowing, it's not the most pleasurable experience. What about full-time salaries for teachers in the UK and London? Your school will have their own pay scales for qualified teachers, and pay increase will always be linked to performance, not length of service, and will be reviewed every year. Recruiters also advertise on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great tool for finding employment in the UK and teaching jobs in London. I found it even better when I made use of the premium free trial on LinkedIn. I found that recruiters were searching me out and offering me teaching positions. Make sure you create a standout profile. LinkedIn's like your online CV, and it's common knowledge now that recruiters and employers use LinkedIn to find new candidates. As I mentioned earlier, you do not need to take the first teaching job that you are offered. It's really important you make sure the job is the perfect fit for you. Remember, the work you do here can make all the difference to whether or not you have an awesome experience in London or a terrible one. Here are my top 3 tips for scoring the perfect teaching job in London. Number 1, if you're told about a teaching position by a recruiter and you are in town, make sure you ask lots of questions, and importantly, ask to visit the school. This is a fantastic way to meet the head teacher, have a wander around, check out the classrooms, the resources, speak to teachers, and see what the kids are like when they're running around the school. You'll get a good feeling of whether or not that is the correct school for you. Go with your gut. Number 2, don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions of the recruitment agency and your head teacher. The correct questions can determine whether or not this is the best workplace for you. And number 3, make sure you find a workplace that's an easy commute from where you live. An easy commute will make your life so much better and give you back more time for that work balance lifestyle. Teaching can be rewarding and inspiring, but it can also be a challenging and demanding job. That's why it's crucial that you find the perfect fit for you when you're looking for a teaching job in London. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below, or why not look me up on LinkedIn and send me a message. If you found this information helpful, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe and notifications button.